Hi, it's Tina, here to give you a breakdown on every one of Maven's binocular series. I cover both the B and C series to discuss three core points: series similarities between glass, prisms, and coatings, general build quality and material components, and where they're made. I then break things down further into series lines. That is to discuss the applications in which they would be best suited to, be it birding, hunting, hiking, and even stargazing. So consider me your personal Maven specialist to help you not only decide which binocular series is good for you, but which binocular line would be best for the job, and not just to do the job, but to do the job well. Let's jump right into the C series. Now, the C series can be considered Maven's entry-level line of binoculars with a starting price point of around $200. Currently, the C series has three lines: the C1s, C2s, and the C3s. So let's start off with the measurable patterns of quality within the C series binoculars. They all have ED glass, extra low dispersion glass that eliminates or at least significantly reduces chromatic aberration, the color fuzzies around objects that you see while you're glassing. Now that's a mid-range feature right there. With Schmidt-Pechan roof prisms, they all have dielectric coatings to maximize light visibility throughout the entire optical path. All of them have an exterior lens protective coating to protect the objective lenses from scratches, mud, oil, dirt, fingerprints, those kinds of things. Now combine all of that optical quality with its IPX6 waterproof rating, nitrogen purged housing, polymer frames, and you have mid-range binoculars with expected mid-range performance. Now all C-series binoculars are made with both Japanese and Chinese components and assembled in the Philippines. The C.1 line. They all have 42mm objective lenses, and they are definitely what we at Target Tamers have defined as mid-size binoculars. They're excellent performance for observational activities, birdwatching, sightseeing, events, hiking, even for hunting open plains, tree stands, and for waterfowl hunting. They can all be mounted to a tripod. Now they are only average performers for use at the target range for spotting groupings from 70 to 100 yards, depending on what type of targets you're using, and for some duty use for mostly people watching, security, and they would make a great pair as a home defense piece of gear. Now they are a good line for most recreational applications. The balance between weight and size has been well executed for all general purpose use. Now with a starting price point of around $400, they are absolutely comparable and competitive to many alternatives in the market for a mid-range performing pair of binoculars. The C.2 line. Now this is the C series compact binoculars. They all have 28mm objective lenses. They are excellent for observational activities. You name it: bird watching, people watching, wildlife watching, events, sightseeing, camping, hiking, taking on your nature walks, keeping it in your truck or even your pocket for fast and instant employment. Now they are only average performers for use at the target range. They can spot groupings on white at a range of 50 to 70 yards, and they can see groupings on shoot and see targets out at 100 yards. Now, unlike the C1s and the C3s, the compact line is not tripod mountable, but this is a standard feature across the board for compact binoculars. With a starting price point of approximately $200, that is not a cheap price point, but there are few binoculars that have mid-range performance. So while you will find cheaper alternatives out there, they will not be able to touch the Maven C2s in terms of quality and mid-range performance. The C3 line. Now the C3 binoculars, as you may guess, are larger than the C1s and the C2s because they come with 50mm objective lenses, excellent for observational activities, bird watching, wildlife glassing, hunting, open areas, waterfowl, and the larger apertures will give you a punch in low light benefits, and they can be mounted to a tripod. They are average performers for duty use, people watching, reading license plates, and general observation, home defense, property security, and limited use at the target range. While the distance will be limited, they can perform better than a low quality spotting scope. With larger apertures, the ability to see better at dawn and dusk and to stay out a little longer can make all the difference to hunters and law enforcement alike. Now, while great for recreational and observational purposes, the larger size and weight can be restricting, so they are best worn with a neck strap or a chest harness. Welcome to the breakdown of Maven's B series binoculars. Now, the B series is the premium range of high-performing binoculars. I mean, this is a series that is consistently and put up against big authoritative brands like Zeiss, Swarovski, and more. Yep, I said that. Now, within the B series, we have about 7 lines. Now, that's quite the expansive range of binocular sizes, price points, and potential strengths for various applications. Now, what do all the B series binoculars share? Well, they all have ED glass elements in the objective lenses. That is a baseline standard for Maven. I mean, even the affordable C series binoculars have ED glass. Another baseline standard is that every B binocular is IPX7 rated, so they're waterproof, they're fog proof, and every B binocular, including the compact line, are tripod mountable. Another great advantage to buying within the B series is that the customer, you, are able to fully customize options from the skin to the color of the bezels. Every B binocular is made with Japanese components and assembled right here in the USA. Now, this is top-notch premium quality right here. The B1 line. Much like the C1 line of the C series, the B1s are mid-size and designed for general purpose viewing. They are well suited to observational applications, hunting, some limited law enforcement use, and some limited target range use. Although they won't be replacing your spotty scope anytime soon, they will work well for the buddy who wants to spot groupings while you shoot. Although its magnification reach is limiting for some law enforcement officers, it does give you that extra sharpness and clarity that you need for mid-range distances. Now, its strengths really lie in the observational applications. Birdwatching with great color fidelity, hunting, and for all things general purpose viewing when you want the best optical quality from a mid-sized pair. Now, starting at around $900, they are not your cheapest pair of glasses at all, but they are the flagship and bestseller line of the entire B series. So they've proven to be your go-to pair for all things observation. The B.1.2 line. Now, the first time I looked through one of these, I was impressed. The first word out of my mouth was, wow. They are incredible. They are the new and improved versions of the B1s with the same 42mm objective lens size. Now, like the B1s, they are excellent for applications like observation and hunting. Due to the new improvements, they will perform better than average for tactical and law enforcement use, while they still maintain the same reach, distance, magnification limitations. Clarity and sharpness is not an issue. Optically, the glass elements are the same, but Maven designed wide-angle Schmidt-Pachand prisms for these new pairs. Now, what does that mean for you? It means edge-to-edge clarity, rich depth field of view, high resolution, excellent contrast and sharpness. Now, they were able to do all of that without sacrificing on the field of view, twilight factor, light transmission, and eye relief. In fact, all of those numbers have seen a jump up. So starting at around $900 for a pair of these bad boys, I would not hesitate for a second to recommend them. The B2 line, a unique and interesting line of binoculars with 45mm objective lenses. Maven takes a spin at balancing out magnification and low light benefits. Really well suited to observational applications, with some models being better for compact general purpose use, hunting, and even some law enforcement use in there as well. Optically, you have the field flattening optical system and abiconig prisms. This gives you the full rich depth field of view and edge-to-edge clarity. Now, abiconig prisms are inherently superior to roof prism designs, but it does tack on a small amount of additional weight. The best way to wear the B2 line of binoculars is with a chest harness, but a neck strap will suffice if nothing else. They still fall under the general purpose category of uses, and with the variety of magnification platforms in the B2 line, you will find one that is right for your needs. So whether you're hiking while bird watching, securing the compound with eyes on the perimeter, you will get maximum magnification without sacrificing optical and low light advantages. The B3 line. Now, how do you redefine compact in an optics market where compact is synonymous with mediocre? Leave it to Maven to figure that out. The B3 line has 30mm objective lenses, and as you can guess, they are absolutely and perfectly suited to observational activities. With a variety of magnification models in the B3 line, you can find big uses for it, from big game hunting, waterfowl hunting, and even some law enforcement use. The lower powered B3s are really great for general purpose use, and even some as an alternative to tree stand hunting and thick timber hunting as well. And they will perform a bit better than the C.2 compact line because of the slightly larger apertures. Now, although small, it has huge benefits right where you want it, in the field of view and light transmission, but it keeps things small right where it needs to be in size and weight. There is a difference here in housing material. While the rest of the B family has a magnesium housing, the B3s have a polymer housing. It's still just as waterproof and fog-proof as the rest of its B family. The B4 line. Now we're getting into the bigger is better territory with 56mm objective lenses. Consider the B4s before you hit the B5s. Why? You'll save just a little bit of money here, especially if you're looking for the 10 to 12 power range. Excellent for observational activities, big game hunting, and some law enforcement use. Like the B2s, the B4s have abiconic prisms, so those specialized prism coatings are not applicable here. You do add a little bit of weight, about 3 ounces to the B4s, but you're not compromising in overall optical and build quality performance. Great depth and super wide field of views with edge-to-edge clarity are the core benefits of the offset prism design, and it's obvious. Now, it's not as varied in magnification ranges as the B5s are, but it does pick up where the B2s leave off. The B5 line. Now, with abiconic prisms and 56mm objective lenses, what are the core differences between the B4s and the B5s? Now, hold that thought because I promise we'll get into it in a minute. Now, you'll really appreciate the B5s for its varied magnification range, especially for that high power observation that you'll need for hunting, law enforcement use, target range use, and even for stargazing. They can even serve as your lightweight alternative to a spotting scope. Now, the real difference between the B4s and the B5s is to look directly to its glass and its build quality. Now, the B4s are built with a polymer frame, so the B5s are built with a magnesium frame, so it gives it a slightly smaller size and weight, but there are no real physical differences between the two. Now, with that being said, the B5s have more magnification models, higher powered models, so that gives you the ability to really do any application that you could think of for observation, hunting, and even stargazing. Now, is the glass any good? For a starting price point around $1,400, you can bet that glass is better than good. The B5s take clarity and color fidelity to the next level, even past ED glass. Why and how? They have fluorite crystal glass elements to make up the prisms, and that is the best of what observational optics can offer. So feel free to jump in headfirst into the entry-level stargazing and astrophotography fields with the high-powered B5 line binoculars. The B6 line, like the B1.2s, they are completely new. The 50mm objective lens binoculars are right on par with Zeiss and Swarovski quality. Really, this is the new standard of premium quality without the excess cost, period. I don't know how it's possible, but Maven is able to offer the starting price point of approximately $1,000 for the B6 line. Great for observational applications, hunting, law enforcement use, and even some limited target range use. Like the B1.2s, they have the new wide-angle Schmidt-Pachand prisms, more field of view, more light transmission, less weight. The B6s pick up in power where the B.1.2s leave off, and they have more optical quality than the 50mm objective lens C.3 Binoculars. If you want the best for observational applications, hunting, and even some tactical use, the B6s are able to provide something bigger than the B1s, but still remain smaller than the B4s and the B5s. Now, why would you spend this much on binoculars? Because you can, because you need it, and because once you've looked through glass this good, you've shattered your rosy colored glasses on all those cheaper alternatives. As is probably obvious by now, I have had my hands on so many Maven binoculars, both from the B and the C series. I have conducted field tests, I've written up write-up reviews, and I've done video reviews for all of the ones that I've been able to get my hands on. So check out below in the description the links to the video reviews. I also indicated which binoculars are best for what type of activity. That way you can quickly choose which binocular is right for your needs right off the bat. If you've made it this far into this video, count yourself a Maven of Maven Binoculars. As always, thanks so much everyone for being here today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Happy shopping, happy glassing. Thanks for joining Target Tamers.